signing studs in the corner later tonight. And speaking of intergalactic menaces or forces of nature, this guy has traveled quite a ways to get here. He came from long ago, far, far away in a distant galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, the folk rock stylings of Sal Voyager.
Oh, thank you so much. It's good to be here on Earth. I come from Narshada, which is the vertical city. Some of you may have heard of it. It used to be a blooming metropolis. Now it's overrun by crime and filth. I think the most logical comparison to make is it's like your Earth Detroit. Something like that. So I wrote a little song here to kind of enlighten you as to how things have changed in my galaxy. It's called Nothing's the Same Now That Everything's Changed. Oh, Tatooine used to be green, with the prettiest forest you ever had seen. But then everything changed when the Sand People came. Or was it the humans? Well, who is to blame? Now they're all trapped in cloisters, farming for moisture. Things aren't the same now that Tatooine has changed. When things on Kashyyyk started to turn bleak, we just twiddled our thumbs and no one dared speak of all the mass graves and those Wookiee slaves. We just hoped to the Force that they would be saved. Now there's no nooks and crannies for those Wookiee families. Things aren't the same now that Kashyyyk has changed. And old Narshada used to be Shangri-La. Oh, at the very worst it was like Dagobah. But that changed so soon when it became Smuggler's Moon. All the rising tall buildings spelled out its doom. Before Grands and Trandoshans, moist land and ocean, things aren't the same now that Narshada has changed. Things aren't the same now that everything has changed. Thank you. Thank you. I've come here with a message tonight. I was on Yavin 4 the other day playing for the troops. That felt good. Before that, I was at Mos Eisley, you know, playing with the modal nodes. You remember them? They had that hit back in the day, you know. Ba, 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 we all remember. We all went to prom. I sat in with them a few times. I sat in with the Tricorders recently on their album Troubles and Tribulations. That was fun. I've sat in with Wally Ramone on some of his albums that have never been released. And but I came here with a message to talk to you about the war that's going on. Old man me, Mr. Palpatine, trying to keep us down, keep us enslaved. Now, did you know that for every TIE interceptor that the Empire builds, that credits could be used to feed all the Twi'leks for an entire year? Wake up, Tauntauns, this is our Clone War. So I wrote a song to enlighten you all. This is called The Silence. That ain't no moon up in the sky, just the face of the Empire and its unyielding eye. And every time it blinks, a million voices cry. They cried out and suddenly are silenced. When I was just a boy, my daddy left my home, hopped in his V-19, went off to fight the clones. Left me and Mommy on Narshada all alone with nothing but the silence. Well, first they came for the Jedi and I said nothing. Then they came for the Gungans and the Comicazi. That Imperial drone keeps marching on and on. And what will I do when they come for me? What will I do when they come for me? And when they asked the princess about the rebel base, she stared death in the eyes and then lied to its face. But they fired their lasers, leaving nothing but space. Space and rocks and silence. Well, first they blew up the garrison moon of Kessel, and next was Despire and Alderaan. Now we'd all like to pretend that the bloodshed has seen its end, but the stars aren't as pretty with them gone. The stars aren't as pretty with them gone. When I lie in bed and think of all the rebels that have died, and I hear the soft whimpers of all the Ewoks that have cried, I still hear a voice that's calling from inside. The light in the tunnel is just 2 meters wide. So we must take up this cause and save each other. We must set aside our loyalty and pride. If we all pick up our blasters, we can rebel against these bastards. And if we fail, at least we know we've tried. With our blasters and the Force by our side. But if the Force be with us, who be on their side? Alderaan, never forget.